one thing left to do.
What's that?
Win the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yes!
Hooks the leg! For the first time, Reigns is Intercontinental Champion! Wow!
Here is your winner and the new Intercontinental Champion, Roman Reigns!
And the celebration begins! The one title that's eluded Reigns in his career is now around his waist! Congratulations to the brand new Intercontinental Champion!
Welcome to Orsini's Uncensored Mind, and now your host, AJ Orsini.
How the hell is everybody doing out there? This is AJ Orsini, and I am your host for Orsini's Uncensored Mind, and we are here with episode 9. Episode 9, and I have to begin the festivities with clarification. Once again, the name of the show. I'm saying this, I'm trying to say it with a straight face and I can't do it. The name of the show is Orsini's Uncensored Mind. The key phrase in that title is uncensored. I wanted to do a show where I could just be me and just do what I do and say what I say and feel how I feel and think how I think. So, the last episode was episode 8. It was called Angry as Fuck. Although I didn't put the ass fuck part because I just felt like maybe that was it. It'd be funnier if I just put the AF, the kids in their jargon. So I just decided to do that. But apparently quite a few people, probably a bunch of people who did not hear episode 1, but quite a few people were taken aback by the amount of swearing. Apparently, I put on quite the clinic on the last episode. Dropped a few new ones. It was a very enunciated motherfucker in there. There was a ton of things going on. I thought the explanation was in the title. Angry as fuck. I really thought that was a very definitive title. I really thought that was a very clear and simple description of where the tone of the fucking show was going to go. Apparently not. Apparently, a lot of people thought that, well, although I do swear, that the last episode was a little much for their liking. I will not apologize for that, but I will be happy to say that I am not upset right now. I am not angry as fuck. I'm just regular Orsini right now, and regular Orsini probably won't be cursing nearly as much because there's a lot of things that I have to do for this episode, a lot of things that I wanted to get to. And one of the things that I wanted to get to, I'm not going to get to it right now. I'm actually saving it. I'm saving it because I have to wrap my mind around what I have to do. Because I heard something on Raw. Actually, not this past Raw. The last week's Raw that I wanted to get to. And I actually wanted to get to it on last week's show. But I ran over time because I was too busy ranting and raving about the shit that was pissing me off. It was the longest episode as well. It was 72 minutes. It was about an hour and 12 minutes, which is 12 minutes too long for me. I don't want to start getting into that not half an hour, 90 minute, 120 minute shows. Those are those are not, that's not the direction I want to head. If over time that's something I end up doing, then that's cool. But I like staying to the 60-minute format. I'm in, I'm out, I'm leaving cab fare on the table, and I'm out the door, going about the rest of my evening. So that's how I want to leave this show. In and out, hit it and quit it. 1 minute buster, however you want to go about it. And get my entertainment value in early and then get the fuck out. Plus, also, I don't have all fucking day to record shit, which is what I keep using as my excuse every fucking time I start getting on a roll with this show. So, a couple personal things I want to start the show off with. I can't wait to get to the math portion, but for right now, we're going to stick with some personal shit going on. This is the first podcast of the Christmas season. I chose a really horrible time to really start this show. It was right at the beginning of all this crap. So we had the Halloween episode. We had the actually, I think they both landed on the pre-Halloween, pre-Thanksgiving. I'm getting it in like just before the fucking holidays. Luckily, my later episodes, land on the 20th and the 27th. So it's going to be way before Christmas and about 2 days after Christmas. So there goes that. Although I'll have plenty of time to fucking record it now because I'm going to be off that whole fucking week. So yeah. So that's the Christmas holidays coming up. A lot of shopping going down. My wife's been going nuts, buying a bunch of gifts and shit for people I don't even fucking speak to, really. To be honest with you, not big on I don't know. I'm not a big family guy. You know, I keep my circle small, kids. So I don't do the whole forced to sit next to people I don't like, fake it for a few hours because it's Christmas bullshit. I don't do that. I didn't do it for Thanksgiving. Damn sure not gonna do it for Christmas. So, you know, she buys a couple gifts. You know, I co-sign. I'm in the conversation. You know, she's on the laptop looking shit up. She asks me a few questions. I go back and forth. You know, it's a conversation. It's a tandem effort. She pushes the button. That's about it. Comes out of both of our accounts. I'm buying shit. She's buying shit. So I call that a win. I don't have to do a whole lot of shit, and everybody else gets to experience Christmas. So there it is. Plus, one of the things that I want to talk about is I'm not really. I started this at the height of the holiday season. I'm not a big holiday guy, to be honest with you. Halloween's cool, I guess. I'm not a big dress up guy. I don't like to dress up. I've done it a few times before my son. I've done it every year since my son. This was his third Halloween, so I've dressed up all the other times. So I'll do it for my son. You know, I'm dad, so I have to dress up. It kind of goes with the territory. But before that, I wasn't really that big on it. I know I have a few pictures online of me in a Mario costume from Halloween. I did a pirate one time. That was pretty cool. So, I mean, I've done it from time to time, but it's not a thing that I make a habit of. Thanksgiving, not big on the holiday. Totally big on eating a bunch of shit and watching Netflix, which seems to be the tradition that we do every year. So I love the act. It's like the 4th of July. I don't really give a shit about why we do it. I just want to drink. Same thing for Thanksgiving. I don't really give a shit why we're doing it. I just want to fucking eat. I think everybody's in that mode now. I think in 2017, everyone's getting a whole lot more honest about these fucking holidays. No one really gives a fuck. No one does. Everyone just kind of follows through with the routine and do what they have to do every fucking year. But I think people are starting to get a little fucking sick of all that crap. I think there's a revolution started right now. I don't think people are really trying to fake it anymore. I think I used to be in the minority when I was a kid. In the late 80s, early 90s, I didn't want to do that shit. I pitched a fit. And I'm sure I wasn't the only one, but I was definitely one of the few voicing that shit. I used to get heat all the time, brother. In the original House of O. Before I moved into my own apartment when I was still living with my mom. The House of O version 1, if you will. I should catch a lot of heat for the holiday season because I was not with that shit. And I used to hear I used to hear the fucking script when I was a kid. You know, you'll appreciate this more when you get older. The opposite happened. I appreciated it a lot less. I did not want to do it. And as soon as I broke away and started doing my own thing, that was one of the first things to fucking go. That happens to a lot of us, though, I think, personally. I think a lot of people, like, when they're kids, they develop this hatred for shit. And then when they get older, it's like, nah, that's not happening. There's a bunch of shit that I used to do when I was a kid. And like, well, when you get older, it'll be different. Nah, nigga, it's the same. It's the same, and if anything, it's even worse. I don't want to do it. So, yeah, I'm not a big holiday guy. All of them. Pick them. Valentine's Day, bullshit. Christopher Columbus Day, bullshit. You know, there's a lot of fucking holidays where I just sit there and I'm just shaking my fucking head. I'm like, all right. I don't even celebrate my birthday. Literally, I think I can count on one hand the fucking people that know when my birthday is. And 2 of the 5 probably just know it now because my son is 2 days after me. My son his birthday is 2 days after my birthday. We share a birthday weekend, if you will. If my birthday lands on a Friday, his lands on a Sunday, which means Saturday's the turn up. That's the joke we have in the house. My wife went into labor on my birthday. So, happy birthday to me. That was my gift that year. I became a dad. That was my gift from my wife. You know, my wife decided to give birth to a child on my birthday. I don't know how you top that. I told her after that, I said, you can't get me any more gifts now because they're all going to suck in comparison to the fact that you gave me a human being for my 32nd birthday? 33rd? 32nd. Yeah, you gave me a human being. You gave me an eternal responsibility for 32. So I don't know. You get for 33, like a watch or something. I don't know how that works. How do you follow birth for birthday gifts? I don't know how that goes. You might have to buy a lion, or like a military trained monkey or something, where I could just point and he shoots. You know. Like I could start eliminating enemies of mine from thousands of yards away based on my military-trained monkey, who will be assisted by the lion, I'm going to assume. Because there's been 2 birthdays since. So I figured the lion came first, which gives me time to tame it and then teach it stuff. And then the monkey's already trained, right? So he comes in already trained, and now he's got a built-in insurance policy, like some security, some muscle in the lion. Yeah, I'm off track. So yeah, I'm not a big holiday guy. I don't know I know my birthday. A lot of people don't know my damn birthday. And it pisses my wife off because she wants to celebrate my birthday, but I refuse to do it. So we've landed on like the marquee birthdays. So my relationship has lasted long enough to where she's hit all the major marks because she's been around that long. So she like gave me a party for my 21st birthday. We did a few in between because, you know, it was the 20s, so we did like a few little things in between. But for the most part, we really didn't do anything until I turned 30. I think I'm going to cave for 35, but we're definitely doing something for 40. So, like, stuff like that, you know, like 50, like that. You know, every 10 years, you throw a little he ain't dead yet party. That's awesome. I want that to be the theme for my 40th, by the way. You know, it's not that he turned 40, it's that he's existed for 40. Like, that's the real accomplishment. No one gives a shit that you turned 40. They give a shit that you survived 40 years. Like, you've made it this far. That's amazing. So, not big on holidays. I do the holidays for my wife. You know, anniversary gifts. My wife celebrates her birthday, so we try to do something for her birthday. You know, she kind of gets in. She gets way into them, actually. She's been educating my son on these holidays. My son is now officially the biggest Halloween fan of all time. We can't shake this motherfucker from Halloween. We can't. We showed him some Halloween shit back in October just to like get into the vibe of it. You know, we bought the costume and he gets, I guess for a kid, that's like the best holiday of all time, right? Freaking Halloween. So he gets to dress up. He gets to do the candy, and he has like a set list of shit that he watches on YouTube, and it's like all these different channels that are on YouTube, not just like TV shows, but like people. I didn't know this until I became a parent. There are people who are on fucking YouTube, like grown fucking people, not all kids. Like there are grown people who are apparently generating funds off of these YouTube accounts where they just do the most kid shit ever, like kid shit possible. Dressing up as fucking cartoon characters. They have their kids parading around in these costumes, and they're doing Easter egg hunts and all this crazy stuff. They're taking them to bouncy houses, and they're filming all this stuff, and they're just putting it on there. Like these kids are like growing up on YouTube. It's the weirdest thing ever. And my son gets a crazy kick out of him. He's got his favorites. This kid, my son is 2. He has subscriptions on my phone. Like my YouTube account has subscriptions to these weird adults and their crazy kids. And I get these live updates. I'll be at work and I'll get these live updates. Paw Patrol toy update. I'm like, I don't give a shit about Paw Patrol. You got the wrong Orsini, dude. It's the other guy, not me. So, like, he's way into fucking Halloween. Way into it. We tried to show him some Thanksgiving shit. Did not take. Did not care. Then again, no one really cares about Thanksgiving. So we figure Christmas, right? Christmas. That's got built-in stuff. I mean, we've got the tree. We've got ornaments. We've got music. We've got cookies. I mean, Christmas is where it's at for kids. And we thought he was going to switch it up. He wanted to do the tree. Like, he was really big on doing the tree. But once the tree was over and he got his candy canes in, man, he was right back to Halloween, bro. I think we're going to have like a little horror kid, like a horror movie buff, or like a thriller writer or some crap. I don't know. He's way into this stuff. Zombies and witches and vampires. And he's into all that crazy shit. So we'll see. I might have an emo kid. You know, everybody has that emo stage. He's going to be way into it. We're talking eyeliner, black nail polish, hair over his fucking left eye. This is going to be a weird kid, dude. I mean, I love him. But, yeah, he's scaring me with the stuff that he's doing. Yeah. So that's the family stuff. Anyhow, I was watching something the other day, and I definitely wanted to talk about this on the show. So I'm watching this the other day. I know how a lot of you guys felt about the sports stuff. I've been trying to keep it limited, but there's one sports thing I without a doubt, I've got to bring up. Got to talk about it. Now, for those of you who don't know and or don't watch, all right, the new Rob Gronkowski of the New England Patriots. All right, I gotta bring this up because, believe it or not, I'm actually going to relate this to wrestling. Believe it or not, I'm going to spin it because the minute I saw this, I thought of wrestling, and not because it was a tremendous hit. For those of you who don't know, so Rob Gronkowski, the New England Patriots, playing the Buffalo Bills. This gentleman, I know his last name was White. His first name was just weird, Levante or Levar or something like that. It's a weird first name. But the White gentleman, who happens to be black, so it's an ironic name, was defending Rob Gronkowski, the tight end of the New England Patriots, on a play. And dude was a little handsy, okay? A little handsy. There was some shoving, there was some pulling, there was some illegal shit going on there. And no flag. No flag whatsoever. So Rob's taking a beating, right? And this kid, he intercepts the pass. And he falls out of bounds. Gronkowski falls out of bounds, and he's just pissed because right before the interception, the defender just went for a last-minute shove, essentially. Is what he ended up doing. And he just, I mean, if you look at the play from beginning to end, he was not in the right at all. There should have been a flag at least 3 or 4 fucking times on that goddamn play. But this is where the commentary changes. So the guy intercepts the ball. He falls out of bounds. Rob gets shoved just before the interception, so he falls out of bounds. So what ends up happening is Rob gets up first. I guess because he doesn't have the ball. He fell first, so he got up first. He gets up first. And you can watch the clip on YouTube. He proceeds to just throw literally all of his fucking weight, which for the record is a lot. I think the guy's like 6'5", 6'6", somewhere in the upper 200s. We're talking 260, 270. I mean, the guy's a fucking beast, right? And he throws all that weight into the back of the defender while he's in a seated position with pads. So he just throws all of his, like, he's pissed. Right? So he gets shoved, he's mad, he rolls through, and he comes up and he just literally throws all of his fucking weight into this guy. And the guy's hurt. I mean, legit hurt. You can see the guy laying on the ground, takes the helmet off, the mouthpiece comes out. The guy cannot breathe, okay? He's got crushed ribs or something. I don't know what the official injury report is. I just know he was fucked up. The guy was hurt big time. Rob Gronkowski put mustard on that stuff. Man, you watch it on YouTube, I'm telling you. Gronkowski put it on him. It was a big hit, but it was a dirty hit. And that's where I'm going to start with this because it was clearly a dirty hit. I can't sit here and defend him for what he did. There should have been at least 3 damn flags before that interception. The guy was not in the wrong at all. Excuse me. Gronkowski was not in the wrong before his hit. Gronkowski had every right to be upset. He did. We're not gonna alleviate the facts here. The guy played rough. All right. Now I know it's football, it's a man's game, but there are certain unwritten rules amongst players that there's a difference in a physical style of play and there's just an underhanded, cheap version of it. And what the guy did was an underhanded, cheap version. If Rob would have got up and just started complaining and bitching and moaning about it, I actually would have accepted that more than what he did. Because what he ended up doing, it changed the conversation. It went from, wow, that's shitty defense to, oh, why did Rob do that? It puts this guy off the hook down because he's the injured one. And they had Rob come out and do some apology or whatever, which is what you're supposed to do. You want the guy to concede to the fact that he did something just so everyone can wrap their heads around what's going on. You could tell in the apology, again, also on YouTube, Rob wanted nothing to fucking do with the goddamn apology. And for the reason that we're saying right here, was the guy was playing like a complete asshole out there. All right, now he shouldn't have lost his cool. He shouldn't have done what he did. You know, it was a dirty hit because, and I'm saying dirty hit because, I mean, the guy could have been injured far worse than he is. From what I understand, he's either going to be medically cleared or for the next game, or at least taking a game off. But the guy's clearly hurt. Now, here's the thing, though. And I'm not advocating that someone gets hurt. And I'm not advocating somebody goes to the hospital. And I'm not advocating breaking a guy's back. And I'm not advocating that people should lose their cool whenever shit happens. But I am advocating this, okay? Sometimes people need to get checked. Now, I know what ended up happening was messed up. The guy was really hurt. But Gronkowski was not intending to injure or permanently harm this guy. At least I don't think. Maybe he just didn't care. I don't think he was malicious in the way that people are assuming that it was. I think he was literally just trying to check this guy. That was one of those hits where it was like, and don't ever fucking do that again. Had the guy just gotten hit at the right place to where it didn't really hurt as much, I'm sure he would have popped right up and just jaw-jacked with Rob, and they would have went back and forth. There would have been some flags, some penalties, and the game would have continued. And I think that was the plan. Even though it was a split-second thought, it was instinct. The guy was running on pure freaking adrenaline and emotion. So what ends up happening is that the defender gets hurt, but some guys need to get checked. Okay, and here's how I'm going to relate this to wrestling. Because Rob Gronkowski is looked upon in that locker room as a leader. They are looking at him as a leader. He's a tough guy. He sets the tone on the field. I know Tom Brady's the quarterback, but he's got to throw to somebody. You know, he's a young, impressionable, not impressionable, but he's still young. The guy's going to be a Hall of Famer someday. He's not even in his full prime yet, I don't think. You know, if you take away the injuries, he wouldn't even technically be in his full prime just yet, and he's already a Hall of Famer for his position. And people look up to him in that locker room. They really do look up to Rob. The problem is these players that come out, especially since I keep calling him, I don't want to call him white guy. I'm in a conundrum here. I keep saying defender. The guy's got a fucking name. I can't say, hey, that white guy. He's not white. His last name is white. Anyway, fuck it. You know what? Just bear with me. I'm going to say white guy, okay? White guy is a rookie, okay? So he's trying to make his bones. He wants to stay on the goddamn team, but that means going against the best. That means you go against the best, that's what you're paid to do. It doesn't matter who's standing across from you. You got to play your game. Well, the kid learned real fast. You do need to care about who's in front of you. You need to play the game a certain way. Otherwise, you're going to get checked. And he got checked. And unfortunately, he got hurt. But he got checked. Now, from what I understand, nothing permanent, but, you know, I'll take the lick. If I'm Rob Gronkowski, I'll take the lick. It's a dirty hit. It's a dirty hit. But sometimes people need to fucking learn. And that's how I transitioned it into wrestling. Because sometimes people in wrestling need to be checked. It's not out of the ordinary for someone to be a little rambunctious, a little vocal, a little beside himself sometimes, and he makes a couple of mistakes here and there, and he needs to get checked, okay? Every wrestling locker room, whether we like to admit it or not, and whether the person really knows and understands it or not, has a locker room leader. It always happens that way. And I don't mean to pull the curtain back a little bit for the fans, but I think for the most part, people will understand that. It's becoming more of a public known thing because of The Undertaker. The Undertaker might be the most famous and infamous locker room leader of all time. You know, but people don't understand that while Taker is kind of the figurehead of that, and everyone will say that, there were a lot of others back in the day that rolled with The Undertaker that kind of held that mantle. You know, you think about the hardcore Hollies of the world. You know, who was he was a lower tier guy, but he had the respect. I mean, guys like Benoit was a locker room leader. He'd fuck you up, you know, and that's the you know, enforcers. You know, William Regal was an enforcer. Finley was an enforcer. A lot of these guys, their jobs, their whole purpose was to make sure the guys on the road and the guys who were getting into the ring were the right kind of guys. And I know the reason why I bring this up is I know that a lot of people hear when I say, "Oh, he's a locker room leader. He'll fuck you up." We have this generation now of people that when they hear fighting or fuck you up or, you know, being physical with you or shooting on you or, you know, or stretching you, they take it as bullying. Oh, you're such a big man, right? It's macho bully shit, right? This hazing, macho, 1800 prehistoric mind frame where you guys are just bigger and stronger, so you guys can just do whatever you want. You know how many 5'5" men I've seen hazed and bullied, and they didn't take that shit? It's got nothing to do with bigger and stronger. Okay, I'm an old school guy to heart. I really am. And when I see someone doing something they're not supposed to do, simply because they feel like they can do it, or they feel comfortable do it, or they feel they have a right to do it, or whatever their reasoning is, I expect fully for the locker room leader to check him big time. Because there has to be a message sent to the locker room that there's a certain decorum to how this is going to go. And every promoter has a different way that they want their locker room to be. You know, some promoters are a little bit more lax than others. Some of them are a little bit more tight than others. It really all depends. And the locker room leader is usually decided not officially. He just kind of becomes the locker room leader because he's got the promoter or the boss or whoever it is figured out. And he knows that this is the way that it's supposed to be. So I fully expect in any locker room for a locker room leader to step up and check a guy at any point in time. Now, if that means checking him in private, if that means checking him in front of the boys, or more importantly, if it means checking him in the ring, then so be it. Absolutely so be it. That to me is becoming a lost thing because nobody wants to be seen as the guy who took liberties or he was going into business for himself, you know, he was getting stiff and, you know, none of that shit. I personally in the shows that I've helped produce or companies that I've assisted in running or my own companies that I've run, I can honestly say I've had locker room leaders in all of them in every capacity, and I've never had to ask a locker room leader to be a locker room leader. It just kind of happened that way. Like I've never really had to tell a guy, hey, do me a favor, check this guy real quick because he's kind of getting out of hand. I usually, you know, it's funny, 9 times out of 10, my locker room leaders usually come up to me and will tell me, hey, this guy's being a little bit out of control. You want me to do something about that? And I'll either wave a guy off or I'll just go, yeah, can you go handle that, please? Because it's a 3-part system. The first part is privately. We'll come to you privately. Dude, chill. You're talking too much shit. You're on the social media talking too much shit. And by talking shit, I mean like talking shit about other wrestlers, talking shit about, you know, other companies, you know, always putting WWE shit on your page or whatever the fuck is bothering the boss or the promoter. And it could be one of a million fucking things. Whatever it is bothering him, whatever it is you're not supposed to be doing, it's usually handled by approach. It's like, hey, bro, listen, this can't happen. This has got to be cut back. The second part of it is publicly. And the public check usually comes when you're being disrespectful to literally almost all the boys. You're taking up too much space. You over here stinking. You talking all kinds of shit. Whatever the case may be. That's when you publicly got to get checked. That's when the locker room leader comes over and basically just tells you what it is. You could take it as a punking or you could just take it as a warning. Whatever the case may be. That's on you. Okay, but that's when the locker room leader has to set up and let the boys know that this is not how this is gonna go. It's gonna go ABC. It's not gonna go QTV. Okay, you can't just put letters together or whatever you want to do. ABC, baby. Follow the rules and do what you gotta do. Get paid and get the fuck out. Other than that, we got a problem. And the third part is in the ring. Now this is where you'll get the most discrepancy from people. Okay, getting checked in the ring. Because this is where all the crying comes into place. Okay? Oh, you're being a bully. You're being a bully. Oh, he's being stiff. He's being stiff. He's going to business for himself. No, look. A true veteran, okay, he's going to work the match however he needs to work the match. Whatever makes the match good, that's what the veteran is going to do. Meaning, if he's got to beat your ass, he's going to beat your ass. If it means you beating his ass, then he going to sit there and he going to take an ass whoop. All right? It's a work either way. I'm going to work you over. You going to work me over. Let's give the crowd something to be happy about either way. You start doing stupid shit, you got to get checked. Okay? If I throw a right hand and you sell it like a bitch, I'm going to punch you. The next punch that's coming is... It's going to be a punch worthy of a bitch. I promise you. Okay? I love locker room leaders. Love them. I don't really give a fuck who it is. To be honest with you, I've never selected a locker room leader. I rarely ever see them selected. It usually ends up just being the guy who's always there, the guy who's been there since day one, or who's just literally been there the longest. He knows everybody. He's comfortable with everybody. You can approach him for positive shit. It doesn't have to be all negative. Locker room leader doesn't necessarily mean disciplinarian. It could be anything. He can help you with your match. He can help you with your gimmick. You can sit there and spitball and talk shit and just have an overall fun, caregiving night. You know, locker room leader is the guy that's keeping the morale good and everyone's having a good time. He just happens to also be the guy that when you fuck up that good time, he's going to let you know that that's a fucking problem. And I saw that Gronkowski hit, and I know that people will say dirty hit, and I agree. It was a dirty hit. But you know what? He felt the need to check this dude, and he checked him. That's it. I promise you, whether it was over the top or not, I promise you, the next time they line up, it's going to be a different damn story. And I know white guy is going to go on TV and he's going to talk all this shit. And he's going to say, oh, I owe him one and all that stuff and beating his chest. And, oh, I can't wait to go back to Foxborough and yada, 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 yada. This dude is not as big. He's not as strong. I'm telling you. Rob will rock him again if he comes out there and does all that foolishness he did on Sunday. And that's what happens. You keep checking him. If the first check didn't work, you keep checking him over and over and over and over. And that's what's going to happen. Simple. That's how life is. It's unfortunate, but it's true. You can't conform everything to being nice. Not everything is nice. I said it a few podcast episodes ago when we're talking about people in society. Human beings are fucking disgusting. Period. End of discussion. There's nothing you can say to go against that. For every beautiful flower and sunrise, there's a massacre or a freaking firefight somewhere that just proves the other shit wrong. All right. People by design, instinctually, are gross. Okay? So when you have those rare exceptions, when you have the people who just genuinely seem like great people, then there's a need to check these assholes, okay? Just because you don't like being checked doesn't mean that you're being bullied, that you're being singled out, doesn't mean you're a fucking victim. You're just being checked. And the people who survive in this business, they take that check, and they go, you know what? I'm doing something wrong, man. I got to change this up. And they roll with it. And they'll go bitching to the promoter or the booker, oh, I don't want to be put with this guy. He's a jerk. He's always, he's always on top of me. And I can't deal with that. I can't. You're either going to be a part of this locker room or you're not. Simple. And that's just not just wrestling. That's every fucking thing. I hear it about sports locker rooms. I hear it about business, where it's just a little joke here, a little this, a little that. And it's like, I don't like it. I don't like it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Well, all right. Then go feel uncomfortable over there. It ain't got shit to do with me. Okay? I'm sorry. It's not everything is nice. Okay? I know people are going to hear that shit and they're going to be like, well, that's not very PC, man. It's not right. You shouldn't be picking on people and trying to belittle them. I'm not suggesting anybody be bullied or belittled. Okay? If you coming in and doing what you need to do and you're not fucking with nobody and you coming in to do business, and who knows, you want to have a good time along the way, and you just a good soldier and you coming in and you participating and you're doing something good, not just for the company but for yourself, ain't no reason for you to be fucked with. Locker room leaders ain't coming over to fuck with you. But you're coming in here running your mouth. And you're going to get checked. I'm not advocating innocent defenseless people will just get fucked with because hazing. No, I'm talking about people who got that shit coming. And there are people who got that shit coming. Okay? It's not that hard to decipher who they are either. They've been mouthing for forever. It's not that hard. You know who the assholes are. Even the pacifists out there who just can't get their moms to out of their mouth, they know where the assholes is at. I'm talking about checking assholes. All right? So to Rob, I say take your punishment because you did wrong. You did wrong. So take your punishment and just go about your business, big man. You got a bright future ahead of you. All right? So now it's about that time to get in some mathematics. So I was breaking some shit down, because I heard some shit that boggled my mind. And I knew it was wrong, but I needed to go to the archives, to the big book of facts, to see where all this shit went wrong. I needed to go deep into this. Okay, so if you're following along, if you're gonna follow along with me, you're gonna need a pencil and a piece of paper if you want to keep track of this shit. Otherwise, if you're just gonna listen, then hold on to your straps here because I'm going to throw some shit at you. So, last Monday, not this past one, but last Monday, Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw defeated The Miz for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. I think we all know by now why. The WWE has gone literally out of their way to not hide the fact that Miz basically dropped the belt because he was going to go film a movie. But the point is, they could have put the belt on anybody. They put it on Roman Reigns. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, they put it on Roman Reigns so that he can complete the cycle and become a Grand Slam champion. To that, I say, perhaps. Perhaps they did. But I don't think it was an intentional thing. I don't think they were building this shit in their head and they said, yeah, he's one title away, this is it. I think they said, oh, we have an Intercontinental title problem here. What should we do? And they started rattling off names, and Romans came up, and they said, well, that'd be interesting considering blah, 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 blah. So I don't have a problem with Roman Reigns becoming a Grand Slam champion. I think he actually deserves it. He's doing a good job with all the other belts. Why not give him what is essentially the top title on Raw, because the Universal title hasn't been seen in forever, and it won't be seen in forever. So the Intercontinental title is seen every week on the show, so to me, that's the top title. If I can see it all the time, that's the one that I'm going to go with. So that's the top title. And now Roman Reigns has it. I don't have a problem with him being a Grand Slam champion. My problem was the way that it was called. Because I don't know if it was planned that way. It had to be planned because that number, they gave a number to the Grand Slam championship. And it couldn't have been fucking random. Okay? So they said Roman is the 9th Grand Slam champion in WWE history. And then when repeated, it said the ninth Grand Slam champion in modern history. And they like to use that word a lot, modern. They did it with Punk, when Punk was the champion. And it was 434 days. And they were like, oh, it's the longest reigning WWE Championship run in modern day history, which is basically just a fancy way of saying recent shit. Because Punk's reign wasn't anywhere near, I think, what is he, 11th now all time? 12th? He's not even in the top 10. It is 434 days. So they like to throw that word around a lot, modern, right? So they said Roman Reigns is the 9th Grand Slam champion. And I heard that, and I went, no fucking way. That has to be wrong. Has to be. Because I remember back in the day keeping track of that shit. Or at least, like, I used to hear it a lot, and I used to, I used to try to keep track of it. And it turns out, I was not wrong. He is not the, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah. He's not the 9th Grand Slam champion. He's just not. So here's the discrepancy. So as far as the math goes, I found out who all the Grand Slam champions were. Now the problem is it gets really convoluted because first of all, what's a Grand Slam champion? So a Grand Slam champion, it's supposed to be, from what I understand, and this is coming from the experts, one world title, 2 of the many secondary titles that are available in the WWE, or at least have been, and 1 tag. Now, the secondary titles is where the confusion is. 1 world title is very easy. It could be the WWE Championship or the former World Heavyweight Championship that they used to have. The Universal title technically does count, but so far, none of the people who have held the Universal title are Grand Slam champions. So we luckily have been saved from that part of it. But it starts to get muddy because, well, 1 world title. So WWE Championship, World Heavyweight Championship, the WCW World Championship was a part of the WWE at some point. We have you have to have 1 tag title run, but we've had the World Tag Team Championships, and the Raw Tag Team Championships, the SmackDown World Tag Team Championships, and the WWE Tag Team Championships, and the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champion. We've had a lot of tag titles. Secondary titles. Well, you can win any of the secondary tag titles. We've had Intercontinental. We've had United States. We've had European. This is where it got crazy, too, because they started, I've had this conversation. People started including the hardcore title in there. And that's where it gets nuts. I think Crash has like a 27-time reign with that crap. The hardcore title just convolutes everything. So I had this big plan to do all these big numbers, but it got so crazy trying to put all of this shit together that I genuinely gave the fuck up. And I just said, how can I simplify this? So what I did was I first tried to decipher modern era. So what I came to realize after, again, going through my filters and speaking with people, I've assumed that they are referring to the U.S. title as part of the modern era and the European title as the previous era, which sucks, in my opinion, because that means that according to their records, someone like Shawn Michaels is not a Grand Slam champion. Now, we all know that he is. You can't strip a man of that title. It is what it is. But in their current record books, he's not in there because Shawn was the first Grand Slam champion, and he did it kind of before anybody really had a chance to because he was the second European champion. So the way that it's listed here is that Shawn won his first championship, which was the IC title in 92. Then he won the World Tag title in 94, and he won the WWF championship in 1996, which makes 3, which is the Triple Crown, right? So there really was no opportunity at a Grand Slam. The Grand Slam thing started at one night only in Europe, in the UK, when Shawn beat the Bulldog for the European title. Now, the Bulldog was the first ever European champion. He had just won it like a few months ago. So he didn't hold it for very long. He had some nice title defenses, but it didn't last for very long. So Shawn really was the first. Okay? He got joined by that company, the Grand Slam company, later on in 2001 when Triple H won the tag titles. Now, before that, he had won the IC title in 96, the European title in 97, and his first WWF championship in 99. So you kind of get a vibe of where we're going here, because Triple H, as you all know, Triple H and Shawn Michaels held other belts. You know, they held World Heavyweight Championship belt. So there are other belts here. Kane is where it got. Kane is third. Now Kane came. Also, he won his last titles in 2001. Okay, but here's where it gets convoluted. Okay, because Kane technically really is. He's the only one on this list that if you want to call him a Grand Slam, you can. I can see the argument where you can't. But Kane won the WWF title in 98 for like a day. The World Tag Titles also in 98 with Mankind. In 01, he won the Intercontinental Championship. And here's where the argument is going to start. He won the Hardcore title at WrestleMania in 2001. Now, Kane has other belts, you know, with the World Heavyweight Championship as well. But it's another world title. So it cancels each other out, I think. So if you want to throw Kane in there, that's fine, because he did win a secondary title in the Hardcore, but I don't know how secondary that was. To me, the Hardcore title just seemed like an attraction belt. You know, so if you don't want to include the Hardcore, I get that. But he's on this list. Okay? So then we have Chris Jericho, who won everyone here won the same 4 belts. It's the WWF Championship, the World Tag, the IC, and the European. So instead of just going number for number here, you know, Chris Jericho did it. He's number 4. Kurt Angle did it. And Kurt's where it gets funny, because Kurt was around long enough. He made the list before the modern era, but he's on the modern era list. He's one of 3, I believe. So Kurt Angle won the WWF Championship in 2000. He also won the Intercontinental and the European in the same year. Everyone knows that. He held the IC and the European title at the same time. And he won the WWF Championship against The Rock later that year. So he was a Triple Crown for about 2 years. And then in 2002, he won the SmackDown tag titles, or the SmackDown World tag titles, or the WWE, whatever, dude. He won the tag titles with Chris Benoit. So that's where the Grand Slam, for him, he achieved Grand Slam status when he won the tag titles. Okay, so those were the 4 belts. But in 2001, I think that was the 9/11 show where he beat Rhino for the U.S. title. So technically speaking, according to their books, they're not even acknowledging the European title, in spite of the fact that he won it. They're still counting him in the modern era. So Kurt technically is 5th on this list, but he's like 1st on the modern era list. It's so weird. He's 5th on the actual list, but he's 1st in the modern era list. And he's followed right there by Eddie Guerrero. So Eddie Guerrero, who's like right after him. Eddie Guerrero won the WWE Championship in 2004, the World Tag Titles in 2002, the Intercontinental title in 2000, and the European in 2000. And the guy after him is JBL. And JBL won he won the Grand Slam honors by beating Eddie Guerrero. So there's a nice little tie-in there, because JBL had a World Tag in 99, and I misspoke. Because, yeah, he did beat Eddie Guerrero for the championship. That was in 2004. Apparently, he didn't meet the standard for the Grand Slam until he won the IC title in 2009. You know, the one he had it for like 10 seconds, and he lost to Rey Mysterio in less than that WrestleMania. But JBL does also have a European title run under his belt. I don't even recall Bradshaw being the European champion in 2001, but he's on here. All right, so Kurt and Eddie Guerrero are also the first 2 in the modern era list, because, again, Kurt won in 2001 and Eddie Guerrero won in 2003. So that's 1 and 2. Okay, now I mentioned JBL, and Rob Van Dam's on the original list with a WWE title run, Tag US and European. All of these guys are European. Booker is on this list, but he was never WWE champion. He was a world heavyweight champion. He won that title in 06, and of course tag, IC, and US, all within concession. His first title was a tag. He won the IC. He had that great US title, best of 7 series in 04. I think that was the one where they were recreating it. It was Booker T and Chris Benoit. They were recreating it, and I think Benoit got hurt. Oh no, Booker got hurt, and then Booker got replaced by Orton. And what was it, match 4, match 5? It was late in the series, and then Benoit had to fight Orton. It was hilarious. So that's Booker T. Jeff Hardy gets on this list as the WWE champion in 08, tag in 99, IC in 01, and European in 02. So he actually had a European title run. I remember I do remember the European one. Okay. No, it was brief. I remember that. I remember the IC one because it was the big shock. He beat Triple H. But then Triple H just got it right back. Christian's on this list. He he was after him was Big Show, and that's the end of the old list. So Christian and Big Show didn't achieve their status until way later. Christian, obviously a tag team champion, Intercontinental, European. He has a hardcore title run to his resume, but when he won the world title in that ladder match in 2011, that was it. Grand Slam champion, he was in. But he, like Booker, never became the WWE champion. Those are world titles that they're claiming for the Grand Slam. So Big Show, like I said, also on this list, he didn't win his Grand Slam until 2012 when he won the Intercontinental title. So the WWE champion in 99, tag in 99, U.S. title in 03. That was the best part of Big Show's U.S. title run was the fact that the way he held the belt. I just remember that teeny little belt just hanging on his shoulder, looked like a replica, like a small child. So Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Kane, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, JBL, Rob Van Dam, Booker T, Jeff Hardy, Christian, and Big Show. That's a nice list of guys. But like I said, with the exception of Kurt Angle and Eddie, and Big Show, actually. And Big Show. Because Big Show doesn't have a European title run under his belt. He got in from the U.S. title. So Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, and Big Show are technically on the modern era list. That's probably where I'm missing MC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. So they're saying he's 9th on the modern era list. So according to this, I guess that would be somewhat true. But it's not. But see, that's the thing. They like to play with history. He's the 9th modern day Grand Slam. No, he's not. He's not the 9th anything. According to this list, he's the 20th Grand Slam guy. Not 20th, excuse me, because I repeated these. That would be 18th. It's like 18th. So weird. Yeah, because those names, right, eliminate Kurt Angle, Edge. There you go. Yeah, I'm doing the math in my head now. So he's about 18. Okay, because now let's talk about the modern era. Okay, Kurt Angle we mentioned, Big Show we mentioned, Eddie Guerrero we mentioned, Edge. Edge gets in. WWE champion in 06, tag titles in 02, IC 2000, and US in 2003. So Edge in 2006, when he cashed in Money in the Bank, he got into esteemed company. The Miz, whether I like it or not, is in the club. And some of those goddamn belts he held at the same time. I believe he had the World Tag and the U.S. titles at the same time. I was personally there at WrestleMania when he won the Intercontinental title and then his WWE Championship run, the one that scared the shit out of literally everybody. Daniel Bryan on this list, and he got in super late. He got in the IC title win at WrestleMania 31, 2015, yeah. So the U.S. title victory at the ladder match, the one where he really wasn't, I don't know if that was really the plan. Kind of like Roman. I don't know if that was really the plan, but there it is. He wins. He's in. So Daniel Bryan's in. Chris Jericho, I mentioned earlier. Oh, okay. So Chris Jericho's on the list. That makes Roman 17th. I have to eliminate that one. So let's do it. I'm not gonna fuck around with this. Hold on. I'm gonna actually edit this right now as I'm speaking because I'm Speaking out of turn here, I was so prepared for this, and now I'm realizing I was really not prepared. Chris Jericho gets onto the modern era list by 17th. Chris Jericho was on the original list because he had the tag, the IC, and the European. He was actually around long enough for the European title run. But Chris Jericho will officially be on the modern day list based on his U.S. title win at the beginning of this year when he went into WrestleMania as the champion against Kevin Owens. So that was, wow, that's a much bigger win than I thought. Damn, Jericho's won a lot of goddamn belts. He won the WWF championship, bro. He's been around for a long time. Grandpa Jericho. WWF champion, world tag. How many variations of the tag titles do you think this fucking guy has won? Because he won his original title with Benoit, and then he won the tag titles with Christian when they were just the world tag titles on Raw, and then he won. Jesus Christ, didn't he win the belts? Oh my God, Jericho's won a lot of goddamn belts. That's not even including his Japan stuff, his WCW stuff. Did he hold like all the WCW belts? The world title, the cruiserweight. No, he did. The WCW world title in WWE though. Cruiserweight title. The guy had the TV title, I think. Fucking U.S. titles. U.S. title is the one he just recently got. But Jesus Christ, he won a lot of belts. So the last two guys on the list is Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. We already know what the fuck happened with those guys. I think everyone's up to fucking speed on Dean Ambrose and fucking Roman Reigns. So yeah. So it irked the shit out of me. I spent a lot of, as you can see, I spent a lot of fucking time on this, and I don't know why. But I do know that Roman joins an elite list, I think, which was the whole point of all of this. I'll list them again. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Kane, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, JBL, Rob Van Dam, Booker T, Jeff Hardy, Christian, Big Show, Edge, The Miz, Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. I'm going, as much as it fucking kills people, I'm going to have to go ahead and just say all these guys on this list are fucking Hall of Famers, dude. Shawn is already in. Triple H will no doubt be in. Kane will no doubt be in. Jericho should no doubt be in. Kurt Angle's already in. Eddie's already in. JBL, in my opinion, should be in. Rob should be in. I don't know if he ever will. I think he's his own worst enemy. But Rob Van Dam should be in. Booker T. Booker T is already in. Jeff Hardy. I think Jeff Jeff's a tough case because I think Jeff has enough merit to go in on his own. But how could you not put him in as the Hardy Boys, even if this broken thing takes off, which I did not comment on tonight, and I won't comment on it because I want to see where this goes. One video is not enough for me. I need to see where this goes. Christian, Hall of Famer, goddamn right. Goddamn right. There's no argument that can be made on the opposing side. Devil's advocate, my ass. Christian is a Hall of Famer. Bottom line, end of fucking discussion. I can't even begin to comprehend what the opposite argument could be for Christian. He's a Hall of Famer, in my eyes. Big Show, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Definitely Hall of Famer. Edge is already in. The Miz. Oh, dear God, The Miz. Listen, this is me being me. I mean, professionally, personally, I always try to carry myself the same way. I don't have to like you. But if you've earned my respect, you've earned my respect. And I'm not a big Miz guy. I don't know if I've said that much on the podcast, but I know in my personal life and my professional life, I've said it quite a few times. I'm not a Miz guy. I don't get it. I'm not that sold on him. I never have been. I probably never will be. I can't take him as seriously as he would want me to. His promos always seem like he's trying way too hard. But that's just me. Okay, having said all that, we're having the conversation. Hall of Famer? Miz? Yeah, probably. He's been here a long time. Granted, some of those years are probably throwaway years, but from the times that he got hot, the brother was hot. Even I have to give the fucker that. I really do. I don't like him. I respect the shit out of him because the guy. I don't have to like you to respect your hustle. Miz has a hell of a hustle. Guy never gets injured. He goes to every fucking appearance. He does everything they ask him to do. The guy's a fucking soldier. Guy's for real. So I will give him that. Creatively, as a wrestler, I'm not the biggest fan. But as a performer, as a person, as a businessman, yeah, I respect him. So Hall of Famer. Daniel Bryan, clear cut, obviously. And he wasn't there that long. But for the time that he spent there, the memories that he made, the matches that he had, yeah, definitely. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, we'll see. As of right now, yeah, I don't know. As of right now, it'd be tough. It would be really, really, really tough. I got to see the latter end of their careers. I know I'm talking out of both sides of my face because Daniel Bryan, if I'm putting Daniel Bryan in, and he had, 6 years at the most? 6-7 years. But look, Kurt had 6 or 7 years, right? Kurt Angle had the 99 debut. He was gone in 06. That's about 6-7 years. And he was a hands-down Hall of Famer. And if you look at Kurt Angle's resume in the WWE and Daniel Bryan's resume in the WWE, it's almost identical in a lot of ways. They both won a lot of shit. So I don't know. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, time will tell on that. Time will definitely tell on that. I'm not sold on either or, to be honest with you. But that Hall of Fame shit is a whole other conversation for another fucking day. It really is, because their Hall of Fame is bullshit. It really is bullshit, their Hall of Fame. And I still get into it because I like listening to the stories. I like listening to the performers and the guys tell their, tell the way they got there, man. Just tell it like it is. I like when they get up there and do that shit. So I'm still down for it. The process, the process, I laugh. I call it bullshit. The process is basically who does Vince McMahon like today? That's the Hall of Fame process. If we could get a legitimate fucking Hall of Fame together, that'd be great. But I don't see it ever really happening because it's really hard to decipher between Hall of Famer and non-Hall of Famer. How do you tell an 18-year guy that everything he put into this business was worth shit? Like, good run, buddy, but not a Hall of Famer. Like, having to break down whose achievements to sacrifice ratio is higher than everybody else. It's kind of fucked up. But, yeah, Hall of Fame is definitely a different fucking question for another fucking day. And I know just the fucking guy to have on my show when I start talking about fucking Hall of Famers. I know just the fucking guy. And he's probably listening to this show right now, Mr. Cease and Desist letter. I can't wait to have your ass on the show and to have that fucking conversation, because we've had that conversation before. So I know exactly where his head's going to be, and I can't wait to bash his fucking head in with it. So anyway, yeah. So that's what's been going on. This is episode 9. I hope you guys had a good time listening to it, possibly a few chuckles along the way. I hope the numbers weren't too much. That's not, believe me, that was the dumbed down version. I had a much worse fucking thing planned. I was bringing numbers, bro. Fucking 6-time world champion, 17 times, blah, blah, blah. I had shit broken down. I had like 3 pages worth of shit, but it would have been a 2-hour fucking episode. So I condensed that bitch like crazy. So that was the best that I could do. But yeah, 9th Grand Slam champion, my ass. Okay. At best, with the whole 9th modern era stuff, whatever. Anyhow, I'll see you guys next week with episode 10. 10! Double digits, y'all. All right, so I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.
Please listen to my daddy show.
Please listen to my husband's show.